Here we go. Here we go. What's up, guys? I have the 5-liter Coyote and the 6.2-liter EcoTech, known as the L87. Which truck is going to get the best fuel economy and performance in this test? I borrowed these trucks from Ken Ford in West Valley, Utah. Be sure to ask for Ken. And I borrowed this GMC from Jerry Sine GMC here in South Jordan, Utah. Be sure to ask for Frank. Both of these trucks are available for sale. Let's go ahead and drive the 5-liter Coyote first, and then we'll drive the 6.2 right after. This car, or I say car, this truck has an auto hold function. I'm sure you guys can tell this is a low trim level Ford F-150 STX. I just reset the fuel economy, and if I had to guess, this truck might get out of the pocket a little bit quicker than the 6.2 because that's a Denali. That was the lowest trim level they had there with the 6.2, obviously, because the 5.3 comes available in the lower trims, but the 6.2 is in the higher trims. And that's something that's interesting, right? When you think about the manufacturers, think of it like this. It always makes sense to have the better engine in the higher trims because you can charge more for it. But at the very least, GM offers 2 V8 options. Now, obviously, you can't get the Coyote in the lower trim levels. It's the only V8 option, aside from the Raptor R. But this 5-liter Coyote is available only up into the Lariat. So you can't even get this engine in the top trims. So that's kind of the advantage. And I'm planning on doing a video before this one. I haven't filmed it yet, kind of discussing all this. But yeah, when you get inside these V8s today, they don't have any loud noises and all that stuff. They're just normal V8s. They don't have any active exhaust for the 5-liter Coyote. However, that 6.2, which you guys will probably hear in a little bit, does have active exhaust. Now, I am in eco mode. When I do the 0 to 60, I am planning to switch over to performance. Now, real quickly, before we do that 0 to 60 later in the video, if you can't see it, I will call it out for you. On my Draggy, it shows that we're at 4,435 feet. That is the altitude. So yes, my 0 to 60 runs are a little bit slower because I'm at a higher elevation, which means you lose about 3% of your horsepower every 1,000 feet you go up. Now my density altitude is 7,569 feet, so it's even worse because it's really hot today. It's 98 degrees. AC is on and it ain't turned off because, yeah, it's hot. Let's go ahead and drive the Sierra with the 6.2 real quickly. You can definitely tell how much stiffer the seats are for the GM trucks. Even if I had a lower trim level with cloth seats, they're typically pretty stiff. Now I do have it in sport mode. I'm going to give it a little bit of the juice real quickly. Here it is. You can tell probably how much louder the exhaust is. Now I'll put it back in normal. I'll hit it one more time. It's gone. And I really like that GM added that little touch. See, they give you 2 V8 options, and then they give you some nice cool features to go along with that burly V8. And GM is really the only manufacturer that has not, you know, discussed twin turbo 6-cylinders in their trucks. I really commend them for doing that because everyone else has. I mean, granted, Nissan discontinued the Titan, but if the Titan were to get redesigned, it would have a twin turbo V6 because the Armada has it. But yeah, these trucks, even though it has the stiffer seats, I find these seats to be fine. I like a little bit stiffer seat in my trucks. I just do. And yeah, this truck is very smooth. I think that the 6.2, it feels more powerful. I mean, yes, it has more horsepower, it has more torque, but it just feels like it has more to offer compared to the 5-liter Coyote. I feel like the 5-liter Coyote is a fighter because it's giving you everything it has. This truck has more horsepower, it has more torque, so it's just going to perform better overall. But yeah, when you drive this truck, it's the same story. You don't feel that you're driving a truck with a V8 until you give it wide open throttle. But when you're just cruising on the highway, you can pretend it has a 4-cylinder oil. I mean, granted, they do have 4 cylinders for these trucks, but that's probably what you would think it was if you didn't know your engines, because it's so quiet. Like, they really have made these engines very quiet. And I don't really remember that in the past. I guess in the past they had lower gearing because they had, you know, 4, 5, and 6 speed, so they did sometimes utilize, you know, that lower gearing. Whereas today, I mean, this truck has a 323. So yeah, let's jump back over to that Ford. So you guys see right here, one thing I like about the Ford is they do give you these measurements. And so you can see engine coolant, transmission, and engine oil temperatures. I also like the layout for this 12-inch display. If you want more temperatures, you can put more at the very top if you don't want to keep it on this menu too. It'll show you the transmission and the coolant numbers. And I believe you can put the oil up there too. But yeah, this truck is very smooth. You guys will see the tires here in a second, but very smooth truck, guys. I think that, as I said, if you give it the juice, oh yeah, that's a V8. The V8 is just, it is quiet today. Very quiet. Let's see what that GMC offers in terms of temperatures. GM struggles when it comes down to temperatures. They just do. The only number that they give you is for the transmission, and I would say that that is a pretty important one, but I like to see numbers for coolant and for the oil, just because, you know, when it's 100 degrees outside, especially if you plan on towing, those numbers just become extremely important. Now, you guys see where the RPMs are, right? That is why, I mean, we're not even in 10th gear right now, but yeah, this is why you want that lower gearing. For sure. I mean, I said lower, the higher gearing. This truck has the 323, but this is why you want that higher gearing, because you just can run at 1500 RPMs and you're going to get better fuel economy. So if you're not planning to ever really tow a trailer, you just like the idea of driving a truck or having a bed, then you're going to get better fuel economy. This does have cylinder deactivation, so just keep that in mind as well. And even though I'm not a huge fan of the DFM, I mean, yeah, it's just an extra added thing to obviously go wrong, but it does help you get better fuel economy if you do live in places like Florida and you're just cruising on a highway for hours at a time. Now, these are going to be the Hankook Dynapro AT2s. Nice mix between highway tire and off-road tire for sure. And as far as the capacity goes for this one, it's going to be right here, 2,679 pounds, 51 PSI max. So here are the tires for the GMC. These are the Bridgestone Alenza tires. And I don't have to say it, these are the best tires for cruising on the highway. 2,403 pounds of capacity, very comfortable for sure. We just got off with the F150. Holy smokes, you guys are not gonna believe this fuel economy. This is, wow. This is a V8. Now I know this thing has cylinder deactivation. I didn't know that the 5-liter Coyote had that. Someone actually said it in the comment section, and I was shocked by it. I was like, what? This? 22.3 mpg. That is awesome. Now, I don't know what the axe ratio is. I gotta check really quickly. Hold on. Let's go ahead and see what that GMC Sierra with the 6.2 is doing. Back in the GMC, we are pretty high. I guess this is why GM decided, we don't need a 6-cylinder turbo. This would do just fine. So yeah, the light is green, so we're gonna go through this light. So we're at 22 mpg at the midpoint. That is pretty dang good. So here are the numbers on the door. That rear gross axle rating is gonna be 3,800 pounds, and the gross vehicle weight rating is gonna be 7,100 pounds. All in has 1,926 pounds of payload, 35 PSI for the tires all the way around. Here are the numbers on the door for the GMC. That rear gross axle rating is 3,800 pounds. Gross vehicle rating is going to be 7,100 pounds. And all-in payload is 1,416 pounds. So this truck is definitely heavier at 5,684 pounds curb weight. Now if you need to get over, let's go ahead and let's check. Here we go. This thing has great power delivery. I've said this in the past, the 5.0 is a fighter. This engine really does have great delivery for the performance, for sure. And when you're doing about 76 miles an hour with that 373 rear, I mean, you're just at, what? I would say that's probably 1,800 RPMs or so. So I mean, really the sweet spot for this truck would probably be about 70 miles an hour for sure. But all in all, really good performing V8. And imagine if they had never taken their foot off the pedal with these things. They would be amazing today. If you have that 6.2 liter you need to pass, yeah, this thing has great power. Great power. Running at about 78 miles an hour, we're probably, what, 1,600 RPMs? I have to slow down, unfortunately. It's a car going a little too slow beside me. All right, here we go. Wow, this thing has really good power. I feel like I'm in the broadband. But yeah, when I'm at 78 miles an hour, I'm definitely at a lower RPM with this truck. You can get a 331 with the Ford F-150 Coyote, but that truck probably had a tow package on it, which is why it has that 373. But when you're at 63 miles an hour, you're under 1,500 RPMs. About 63, 64. This truck is quiet. There's a little bit of road noise. Well, I wouldn't even call this road noise. I think this is more wind noise. It's a little windy today, not a lot. But I can definitely tell, like on the side here, there's just some wind noise coming in. But the brakes on this, brakes are great. They're not too touchy. Very comfortable ride and pickup. If you drive on the highway a lot, these seats, I think Ford has some of the best seats, even in their more baser model trucks. They're pretty supportive, very soft seats. That's what they're known for. They have the softest seats, I think, and they support you pretty well. Now, as far as this truck goes, it's actually a little bit quieter. It's like 61, 62. So you're not hearing anything from the engine at all. I mean, you're really just hearing wind noise. There's no tire noise on this one. GM has pretty good brakes too. I don't like touchy brakes. I don't like when you hit the brakes, the truck just like jolts. But yeah, you guys will see the weight for both of the trucks at the end here. This one's obviously going to be heavier because it's steel and it's a higher trim level. So here is the 5-liter Coyote. This engine is going to be good for 400 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque. All that power does go through a 10-speed transmission, and this truck does have a 373 rear. Let's see how it accelerates. Here we go. Here is the 6.2 liter V8. This engine is going to be good for 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, and all that power does go through a 10-speed transmission, 323 rear. Let's see how it accelerates. Here we go. We just pulled back in with the F-150. We're at 19.8 mpg and we drove 13.6 miles. Just pulled back in. 18.9 mpg, 13.9 miles driven. Thoughts? Even though the GMC was lugging on more weight, it held its own when it came down to the performance. Now, as far as the fuel economy goes, I'm not too surprised. The 5-liter Coyote is actually pretty fuel efficient. If I wanted to put it up against the 5.3, the 5.3 probably would have edged it out, because I've gotten like over 20 mpg with that engine before. But yes, either way you go, you can't go wrong. I mean, the 5-liter Coyote, like I said, is a fighter. This engine definitely does put down the power great. The 10-speed transmission works well with that 373. And I don't know if you guys could even tell when I did the launch. I mean, this truck was moving. Like, it really felt like it was, yeah, kicking tail for sure. But I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to check out Ken Garth and Jerry Siner's inventory. Let them know you saw the video if you decide to buy. See you guys soon.